Well, let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts, who were one of the most irritating teams to watch this week, for me at least, because they changed nothing. I was going to make a Colts reaction video, and I guess this is kind of going to end up being one. But the Indianapolis Colts did nothing that we talked about last week, and I think that's why they lost to the Packers, who were led not by Jordan Love, but by Malik Willis. Malik Willis, who he couldn't even get the start in Tennessee, who still, maybe Will Levis is the answer, but Brian Callahan's cussing out Will Levis on the sideline because he's making stupid mistakes. So
there's so much to talk about. Like the more that I speak, the more that you speak, the more that I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to touch on that. Like I would love to touch on that Will Levis situation too. But continue with your Colts thing, because that game, I wasn't watching that game, for the record, guys. I was watching Raiders and Ravens, which that's a whole other situation that's going on over in the AFC too.
I will grant the Colts that technically they did. I thought in the moment, actually I just checked, I was wrong. They didn't even do this. I thought Jonathan Taylor got more touches. He didn't. He got 4 less than he did against the Texans. He only had 12 rushing attempts. He had 16 against the Texans. That's unacceptable. Then the Colts couldn't stop the run. And I know Josh Jacobs is a great running back. 2 years ago, he was the league leader in rushing yards. Fell back, regressed a little bit last season, but he's still a good running back. They couldn't stop him at all. Josh Jacobs had over 100 rushing yards in the first half. The Packers had a total of over 200 rushing yards as a team against the Indianapolis Colts. And we talked about this. We said, hey, this is a great opportunity to focus on the run defense because Malik Willis is going to be coming in. You know that the Packers probably aren't going to try to throw the ball a lot. And again, Malik Willis had some nice throws. He had some nice passes, but he didn't pass a whole lot. He used his legs a lot more for big plays. And Josh Jacobs had 32 attempts for 150 yards. That's what Jonathan Taylor's stat line should have looked like. If you cannot figure out how to score, then at least keep the ball away from the other team by running it. And I do not put this loss on Anthony Richardson. I do think Anthony Richardson needs more work. I saw a stat that shocked me. I didn't know this. Anthony Richardson has only started in 17 games since high school.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's why nothing against Anthony Richardson, but I always kind of said I think he was jumping the gun a little too soon. I think he was talented, but I always thought that he should have went that extra year. I don't remember. Did he get drafted as like a junior, or if I don't remember when he got drafted, but he only played like 1 year of college ball, like full time. And I just think that it would have worked out better for him if he played that last year, but that was just me, but who knows?
Well, he's got to, and again, it's not all on him, but he was still overthrowing some guys. He's got a powerful arm, but I can't believe this is not where I thought I'd be saying. Alec Pierce is their most trusted receiver when it comes to his hands.
And if you're looking for a waiver wire pickup this week, Alec Pierce is only rostered in like 4% of leagues, and on top of that, he's projected like 6.9 points. So like if you scroll down a little bit, you'll find him. Most people aren't going to be looking if they're casuals. So, but continue, Josh.
Yeah. No, Alec Pierce legitimately has the most shirt hands on the team right now. Michael Pittman Jr. had some drops. And again, Anthony Richardson was trying to force the ball to him. And A.D. Mitchell, who I was super excited to watch. He was one of my favorite add-ons to any team this offseason. Had some drops. And it was irritating rooting for the Colts, wanting them to win that game, because it was the same exact thing. Zaire Franklin couldn't tackle. The defensive line couldn't tackle. And then I have to go watch the Bengals, who also can't tackle. So I'm watching it twice in two different uniforms. And like Colts fans, like I get it. I get your frustration. I'm not completely sold on Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying he's not the answer right now, but he's got to figure it out. We all know he's got the big booming arm. He threw a Hail Mary pass that thing had to have traveled 70 to 80 air yards. That was a beautiful throw. And it didn't get caught, but it was a beautiful throw. Anthony, we know you have the arm, but you don't always have to go 100%. Sometimes you just need to throw a 10-yard, not a lob, but just a quick little something. Hit the guy in the numbers, which you did hit A.D. Mitchell in the numbers, right between the 1 and 0, and he dropped. But
and golly, just get Jonathan, get Taylor involved too, man. Like, come on.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor needs the ball. Jonathan Taylor has to get the ball. That's not even up for discussion. Like,
do little dumb check down passes. I was gonna say, do dumb check down passes. Do screens with him. Just do stuff with him. Like, yeah, you don't have to feed him the ball necessarily. Like, oh yeah, here, run the ball. Just get him involved more. I mean, I feel like although he's he's on the field for all these plays, I feel like, and listen, I didn't watch the game like Josh did, and Josh is complaining about it, but like just from like, and I know everyone like hates when I do this, but like from a fantasy football perspective, if you're watching the football logs as it's going on, you're very disappointed with how Jonathan Taylor is producing in comparison to some of these other running backs that, presumably you drafted instead, or that you could have drafted instead, and you picked Jonathan Taylor. But from a different perspective, players like Jonathan Taylor should be lighting it up. We talked about this on the show over the summer, where Jonathan Taylor, this is the first season where he's not holding out, he's not injured coming off of the offseason. Like, he is ready to go. He is ready. You used him more 2-3 years ago and he kept getting hurt. Now you have more of a not, I don't know how balanced of an offense you could say. I don't know. Josh would probably be able to say that more, but I mean, you have Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman Jr. You got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. I mean, you can work with what you got. I mean, I don't know. I'm just spewing, but like, I get him the ball, man. Just get him the ball. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your.
No, I mean, it's true. Like, there was nothing really shocking about what I will say is Matt LaFleur did a very good job of working the wide receivers in with jet sweeps and screen passes and, adjusting for Malik Willis. That was done very well. And Jaden Reed had some nice plays because of that. But there wasn't anything where I was like, oh my God, the Colts could have never planned for this. Like, if Malik Willis would have come out and thrown 50 passes for like 300 yards somehow, I would have been like, okay, no one expected that.
Yeah, that's Malik Willis' insanity game would be crazy.
But that's not what happened. They gave the ball to Josh Jacobs. He ran the ball more. They held on to the ball. I think going into the half, 30 minutes total, the Packers had the ball for 20 minutes of the first half. Mm-hmm. Over 20 minutes, and then the Colts had it for like 6. That's not even a quarter. You can't do that.
No.
And they did the same thing against the Texans. And that's why they lost. I know the Texans are the better team and all that. But the Colts could have won that game. And they should have beat the Packers. So, the Colts are playing. Let me make sure I get this right. The Colts are playing the Bears this week. You have to give Jonathan Taylor the ball. Shane Steichen, if you are out there, give Jonathan Taylor the ball. Gus Bradley, create something to stop the turnovers. I don't know if Caleb Williams will have Keenan Allen this week. I don't know if he'll have Rome Odunze this week. But Caleb Williams is a rookie quarterback. I don't care if he is supposedly the next Patrick Mahomes. There have been teams that have stopped him. Last week, the Texans stopped him.
I mean, he also
And you went
he played not good yesterday.
right.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think basically what I'm implying is that they can win. I mean, homie had 174 yards yesterday and 2 interceptions. I mean, you can stop him. It's not like this guy is coming out like Jaden Daniels or, Stroud even last year. I mean, I feel like you guys can stop him.
The Colts have to win. The Colts have to beat the Bears. And I think the Bears are very much improved. But there's just no excuse with this offense to go 0-3. I know the defense isn't the best. DeForest Buckner is going to be out, I believe, because of his ankle injury. He's out this week, so that is a big loss. But the Colts have the guys to win these games. The Colts have the guys to take control of the games. And I don't know if Michael Pittman Jr. and A.D. Mitchell just aren't locked in yet, but they need to get locked in. They need to figure it out. And Josh Downs, hope he's healthy soon. But Alec Pierce is your best option right now, which is rough.
And AR right now does have more interceptions than he does touchdowns, which is a very unfortunate circumstance. I mean, over the 2 games, he had 3 on Sunday. He had 1 last week against Houston. He had 2 touchdowns against Houston, had 1 touchdown thrown against Green Bay. So it puts him at 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Don't know if he rushed for any, but that's based on throwing.
I can't remember if he rushed.
It doesn't really matter. I just know that he can sometimes run too, but more or less, yeah. I mean, that's a circumstance over there in Indy. You gotta pick up that win this week. That's all I'm gonna say for you Colts fans out there.
Yeah, it's just annoying because they don't it's not like they don't have the talent. They have the talent,
and they don't listen to no buts about it. They don't listen. So
that's the problem. That is a big issue. They should have, if they would have watched No Buts About It, they would have known what the Packers' game plan was, because we laid it out for them because it was fairly obvious, and I think most people could have figured it out.